Scanslip is the group name for the wet sharpening machines which guarantee a professional result. Even if you have no prior experience with sharpening, the machine can be used for a wide range of tasks, both by the amateur and the semi-professional. Currently, Scanslip is available in 3 models. Scanslip 150 is the smallest in the series, with a 150mm sharpening stone. As we can see, this is particularly well suited for sharpening knives and scissors. The Scanslip 200 has a slightly larger stone of 200mm. And the Scanslip 200S, which is basically the same machine as the previous model, but is supplied with a honing rubber roller, which makes honing the edge an easy task. All models are offered with accessories which extend the range of objects that can be sharpened, to include curved turning and sculptor tools, axes, choppers, perforated discs, knives for meat grinders, as well as a wide range of circular knives. We will demonstrate the various wet sharpening machines in the next few minutes. First, we start by pouring water into this bowl. It should be about 3/4 full. Then start the machine by pressing this button on the side. The sharpening stone can rotate both towards you and away from you. Regardless of which Scanslip model you have bought, this template or sharpening guide can be used with them all. We can select between 16 degrees, 25 degrees, 30 degrees and 60 degrees. Let us start by using the standard model, the Scanslip 150, with this sharpening guide. We loosen the 2 handles here on the side. Then we adjust the sharpening angle to 25 degrees, the recommended angle for ordinary knives like this one. Next, we tighten the 2 handles, and now we are ready to sharpen. The side of the knife is held against the vertical unit, pressing lightly down against the stone. We move the blade from right to left. Turn the knife over and repeat. It is important to hold the knife completely away from the unit. The knife must not tilt. The sharpening stone must rotate away from you. Normally, running both sides of the knife through a couple of times gives satisfactory sharpening. Now we will adjust the wet sharpener for sharpening this wood chisel, and then afterwards this plane iron. Again, we loosen the 2 thumb screws on the side. The sharpening guide is placed down on the stone, but this time we select a sharpening angle of 30 degrees. We tighten, start the stone, which should rotate away from you. The chisel is held just against the stone. It is important to hold it parallel with the side of the sharpening unit so that sharpening takes place at right angles. We sharpen the plane iron in the same way. Hold just against the stone, parallel with the side of the sharpening unit, so that sharpening takes place at right angles. We can now select a 3rd angle on the sharpening guide, 60 degrees, which is recommended for sharpening scissors. These scissors can be separated into 2. Do this if possible, it makes sharpening easier, but you can of course also sharpen scissors that cannot be separated. We loosen the thumb screws on the side, place the sharpening guide down onto the stone, tighten the thumb screws again and start the stone, so it rotates away from you. The difference between the Scanslip 200, which we have been using, and the Scanslip 200S is this honing rubber roller, which is used to hone the knife edge so that any irregularities are completely removed before you use the knife. Accessories which allow you to sharpen more specialized objects such as curved turning, sculptor knives, axes, pizza and kebab cutters perforated discs and knives for meat grinders can be purchased for all models. You must have this tool rest in order to be able to use the accessories. The tool rest is very simple to install. There are 3 screws on each side of the sharpening stone. The middle screw here is the oil screw. Remove all screws, position the tool rest, fix in place using the 4 slightly longer screws included in the packaging, and finally replace the oil screw. If you wish, you can first add a drop of neutral oil to the plain bearings. Scantool has developed special equipment for precision sharpening of tools, such as those used by wood turners and sculptors. Open the tool rest on the side here, remove the thumb screw, lock nuts, push the guide in on the tool rest and retighten. The tool to be sharpened is now pushed into this jig and fed into the guide. Tighten the guide, start the machine, and turn the tool to be sharpened from side to side. The sharpening stone should rotate away from you. A special accessory has been developed for sharpening circular knives, such as pizza cutters and kebab knives. We loosen this screw here. Note the nylon washer. It should be placed at the bottom. Here we have the knife to be sharpened. Place it on top of the washer with the knife cutting edge downwards. We tighten the screw, open the tool rest and place the accessory with the knife on the tool rest. Select the correct sharpening angle and tighten. This small magnet presses the pizza cutter in towards the stone while you pull the knife round. The sharpening stone rotates towards you. This special arm, which is for mounting on the tool rest, is used when we want to sharpen perforated discs and knives for old-fashioned meat grinders. Open the tool rest, push the arm in, close the tool rest, then position the perforated disc in towards the side of the sharpening stone. Fix in position using this bolt here and let the stone rotate a few times as we tighten the bolt slightly. We sharpen the knife in exactly the same way. We use this jig for sharpening axes. The actual axe head is fixed tightly in the jig. The tool rest is opened. The jig with the axe is pushed in on the tool rest. Select the correct sharpening angle, tighten the tool rest, sharpen. A specially developed guide is required in order to use other types of accessories with the Scanslip models. The tool rest is opened. The guide is pushed in on the tool rest, which is closed again. Now the remaining accessories can be used. This jig, for example, is designed to hold this type of knife. Do not get too close to the shaft. The jig is pushed into the guide on the tool rest. Loosen it while you find the sharpening angle. Tighten again and start the sharpening stone, which now should rotate towards you. Repeat the process to sharpen the other side of the knife cutting edge. ScanTool has also developed a special accessory for sharpening tools with an angled edge. Using the graduations, you can choose how the chisel, wood chisel or plane iron is to be sharpened. A couple of Allen screws are used to fix the object in position before mounting the guide and tool rest. The tool is laid when we want to use right-angled sharpening from these two Allen screws instead of the arrow. The sharpening stone rotates towards you. Machine knives and other long cutting tools are sharpened easily using this accessory. The knife is placed in this jig, which has a backstop. Fix the knife well using these 4 screws here. Place the holder in the guide. Sharpening can begin. The stone rotates towards you. After a while, the stone will need polishing off. For this we use a guide, a diamond truing tool, and a stone smoother. For the standard model, we use this little guide which is pushed down over the machine cabinet. Now let the diamond truing tool slide over the guide. It must be at right angles to the stone. At the tip there is a lock nut. This is loosened. The diamond must be in contact with the sharpening stone. The lock nut is tightened. We true the stone. We finish using this smoothing stone which is placed against the sharpening stone. First with the coarse grit side against the stone and finally polishing off with the fine grit side. If the accessories purchased for the Scanslip models include the slightly larger guide used earlier, this diamond truing tool can also be used with them to polish off the sharpening stone. The stone should rotate away from you. Let the diamond truing tool slide in over the guide. Adjust the tool rest and guide so that the diamond meets the stone at right angles, which, as demonstrated earlier, is located out at the apex. This lock nut is loosened. The diamond truing tool should now be in contact with the stone. The lock nut is tightened. We can now true the stone. And once again we finish off with the smoothing stone.